The poetry teacher is hiding behind the picture books in the junior library from the rest of the English department, because he and them have a disagreement. They like novels, that means prose. They prefer to see words splattered flat into paragraphs and chapters, claim as much space on the page as they can, have no notion of poetry's honing and the slickness of rhythm and slimness of form and line breaks. For God's sake, think of the children. Shouldn't they be taking lessons in those? The students, for now, are stacked away in classrooms, giving our teachers free range. But just when our poet thinks he's safe, that posse of prose lovers rise from behind a pile of books. They've been waiting for him this whole time, and in his surprise, he knocks over a whole row of Elmer's adventures, and the elephant in the room explodes into multicolour, and the others take this as the ultimate insult. So with a big pull, they let a whole wall of Tolkien almost fall on him. He jumps over into the poetry section, putting a wooden partition between he and them to preserve his shelf life, as a series of unfortunate events try to bowl him over, thrown by those prose lovers, as vicious as cricket, just with soft back snickets. But when life gives you lemonies, you throw poetry right back. He searches the stacks full of his favourite ammunition. It's time to teach them with some harder hitting competition. So both poets and prosers wage bench warfare, and soon they've made a horrible history of the non-fiction section. But those prose readers know how to scan facts quickly, so they tear apart Terry Deary for some vital information on how to make a Roman formation. And then they toy shell across the room, a textbook maneuver, and soon Benjamin Zephaniah gets deflected by the famous 5, Northern Lights, general top 10 bestsellers. All seems lost until Lucy the Temp enters. She's a stanza fan, has come to join our poet's side. She sets up so that he can spike Milligan onto the opposition. The ranks break and the poets high five. Then ding ding goes the bell. Here comes round 2, when out of the blue, shiny shurikens flash across the room at high speed. The performance poets have joined the fight, and they've found the audiobook CDs. Now, our original poets aren't actually sure whether they share common cause with these suckers for applause, the way they try to instantly gratify it on stage. Maybe these performers give poetry a bad name. Spoken word, it turns out, is the enemy. And as champions of the book, these page poets know how to transform a page, so they fold rolled dull into paper-sharp aeroplanes. An army of unintentional origami swans across the room. The situation is snowballing as those prose readers take a leaf from their own books and do the same. So in a twist of fate and paper, Gandalf and Babe get ripped from individual worlds and gripped together, and they ride to war, aimed at those spoken word jokers. And with none of their own material to hand, these vocal vigilantes scamper, spineless. They wail, "But poetry is an oral tradition." Please, the page one say, the first worthwhile poetry was written. You use YouTube videos as texts. Your stuff is archived in the shifty permanence of Wi-Fi. Please accept the irony that for an art form so physical, you're now failing to find things to throw physically. What you gonna do? Click your fingers at me? Our poor performers, they're fast getting hard-backed against the wall when the librarian enters. Shh. Her face turns to debris at the scene, because the library now looks like the inside of a shredder. A carpet of children's literal confetti, all shuffled, all overlapped. "What a beautiful pussy you are, says Voldemort to the Cat in the Hat. And Mallory Blackman now finds herself resting in the political non-fiction. Well, there's a thought. So it's the teachers, bookmarked, dog-eared, paper-cut, who go home when the bell rings. And it's the students who come in to stand in this three-dimensional book that shouts out from the ground, a different kind of volume. And the pieces steam. They get on hands and knees in this space now devoid of categories. They read for themselves. Teachers, it seems, have done their jobs because these students, by turning over a few old leaves, they form new stories, piece by piece. Thank you so much.